We hand over the baton to Kathrin Winkler. She is the CEO of Lusatian Lakeland Tourist Board Association. This organization is part of the AG Easy Travel. She will start her presentation with a film that's why I'm saying for the video lasts about 10 minutes. You can hear the audio description through the headset and online in the English stream and also in the stream with the original sound. But before that, a warm hand for Kathrin Winkler. Where is she? Here she is. Video shows the landscape of the Lusatian Lake District. First, we see a large lake with a jetty and a floating platform. A mother using a hand bike and her son riding a bicycle right from the hotel to the jetty. There, she transfers to a red kayak. The mother is assisted with the transfer by a lift. Together they enjoy a sporty outing on the lake. Then they continue their tour by hand bike and bicycle. It is cool but sunny. The landscape is characterized by large trees. It is a mixed forest. The sun climbs up to a viewing platform and waves to his mother. They take a selfie at the lake. Now they take a selfie at the lake. And now they arrive at a small marina. At the end of the video, the camera pans back to the calm lake. Yes, welcome to the Lusatian water destination. I have brought some pictures. What was it like? A dream back 150 years ago. It looked like this one here on the left side. It was a mining landscape, 20 mines, open cast mines in depths between 80 and 100 meters. The lignite was taken out. This was clearly an industrialized landscape. Then we had unification and we started out creating a new region. This lake that you saw in the end, where the young lady biked around the lake, has been around for 50 years. We have a gigantic transformation. A lake district created from a mining area is a challenge. Will we take into the consideration also accessibility, or is it an add-on? Building Europe's largest lake district comes with a responsibility, and we must face up to this responsibility. And yes, we do so. Tourism is an economic factor, and one thing must be clear. Accessibility must be a strategic quality profile. It must not be the add-on, we believe. It must be taken for granted. It's not a whether yes or no. It must be a natural thing to do. So that was our first strategic decision that we took. Well, we said accessibility is the big topic. This was also one of the first personal paths to the working group Easier Travel, the Lusatian Lake District, or back then it was the Lower Lusatia. I was on my way to the Eifel region. On my way, it dawned on me. We got the concrete header It was a negative prize for the worst region for not thinking in terms of accessibility. It was not a premium awarded because this tower had not been accessible, but that we had not thought the whole thing from the very start. I think this was the right thing to do because it created a complete change. At present, we will create a new Vista tower, and like by a magic trick, it will be accessible. Even a negative award can trigger a positive change. So, clear quality profile. We focus in on this topic, water. It's not diversity that we can offer as the Lusatian Lake District. We concentrate very much on the topic transformation of a landscape by the water, near the water. And we want to be a holiday region for all. What does it mean? Well, how did we embark on this path? Well, first, we had to take stock two federal states, Saxony and Brandenburg, two data collecting systems, 130 offers. Thanks, gratefully enough, we can work jointly between two federal states. We quite often thought it is accessible, but it was not really accessible. So it is certainly helpful to have a certain list. I think accessibility is a thing in your head. It's a question of mindset. You need to bear it in mind. We have seen it in so many workshops. We thought it was barrier-free or accessible, but it was not. That was not true. We need to create, when we create a new landscape, we need to take stock of what is already there. How can I catch the attention of individual people? I'm also very grateful that we started with just one lake to build a ramp leading into the water. It was the natural thing to do, that everybody will have a fully accessible access to the water side. But to highlight this, you need a pilot project, qualification, training and partnership, and in the working group, easier travel. We can work so easily together. 2 years ago, this pilot project, well, it was to be taken for granted that they would go to the various partners in the various regions. What can we adopt? Where can we learn from? And this brought us straight into the creation of this partnership. What is so important? We need to expand our vision beyond our usual horizon. We need to think bigger. We need to go into the direction of sanitary facilities or medical tech providers. We go into the schools. Only then will I be able to create something really accessible. And then I can create a sort of core that I will then roll out over the entire region. Who are the partners at the table? Yes, of course, the municipalities and also the organizations of stakeholders, but of course also the shipping industry and anybody that is on its way in the hotel and restaurant industry. Not only the insiders of an industry. Tourism is not just travel with overnight stays, but it can also be a day outing. So we are talking also to institutions. We are in contact with schools, so that the students or the individual pupil understands why do we build ports in such a way that they can use by everybody. And yes, of course, we are also staging competitions. And we ask the pupils, what's your vision of an accessible lake district? Is this the task or the responsibility of tourist officers? Yes, I think we need to think over the horizon. I think it's also about convincing the locals to support this. also thinking of the day outing. So it's a clear-cut perspective and an objective for the Lusatian Lake District. These locations need to be accessible, the pathways and the ports, but it's certainly not to be taken for granted that everybody will join in. We had to suffer also certain setbacks when we talk also to access points. Well, a mat is rolled out, and this mat ends 1 meter in front of the shore, or the ramp goes straight into the water. But I do not have this offer directly by the waterside. How can I also get amphibious wheelchair entry aids, or let's say such a beach basket? What can I do? Well, the Tourism Association can give ideas and can motivate that an amphibious wheelchair be also be provided, or a beach chair or a strand corb, as they call it. So who will take this beach chair with them? Those who lend these beach chairs, how can I go about dealing with those users from Eastern Frisia and from Rostock? We got clear and very decisive help in the further development of such services. How can we position these services in our region? Now let's take a look at the various services. The waterfront paths, well, with a newly built destination up around those 20 lakes that we are bringing to the store. We have bike paths, cycling paths, and also a width 2 to 3 meters in width. This is a dream for the hand bikers, but also for the wheelchair users. You might ask you need to measure it, you need to communicate it, and of course we also need to do the test ourselves. How can we communicate this? And yes, we do invite bloggers and also affected people, and we also provide recommendation. Which brings us to the next building yard. Then you are by the water and on the bike paths. But how can we make this well known? How can we connect this with the museum? And how can we ensure accessibility? This means you work together with the Association of Museums that are interested in drawing the crowds. I think tourism is much more than just thinking about networking. It's networking. We are paid day in, day out for good networking. Everybody is working. People are envious because, yes, we can network and we are paid for that. And probably it's the nicest job that one can have. And in the best of all worlds, we think in terms of accessibility. Another exercise that we do frequently is training courses, seminars. We go to trainees, but another thing is your own experience. Your own first-person experiences also for hotel operators and for restaurant owners. When I first wore this simulation suit that all of a sudden made me 20 years older, well, this will happen with any other person as well. So any tourist expert should also be sitting in a wheelchair and should take over, or should be blindfolded and should wear such a simulation suit. What does it mean, accessibility? If I am stopped from doing the usual things, what are the success factors? Well, if you want to reposition the Lusatian Lakeland Lake District, well, the first thing is involving the concerned people, the affected, and they know best what their experiences have been painfully enough in the past, what their expectations are in a destination. They are best qualified to convey this knowledge to us. And then also the topic of focus. In so many destinations, everybody wants to grab everything. It's not a wild bunch of so many different flowers. No, you need to focus on one thing. Even we cannot offer everything accessible. We do not have accessible hiking paths. But when it comes to water things, we have a lot to offer. What else matters? These are the flagship projects and cooperation. All these are topics that have been on our minds, that led us to the success factors. Now, what is the economic added value if we have more guests with disabilities? Well, we can say we are one of the regions in Brandenburg and Saxony with the biggest peak seasons. But here it is a huge benefit to say we can play around the year, not only during the beginning. I have 14 seconds. The last slide. We are also in the process. The Lusatian Lake District is certainly a candidate for playing out this quality topic. It can be transferred to other regions. I would like to make a huge plea. Enter into cooperation. Think tourism not only as overnight stays and bringing in the crowds from outside, but take along your own population. Then it will be a success. Sorry. Perfect timing, Miss Winkler.